Good morning, everybody. It's Kula Dula from RawStocks. We have another edition of our pre-market prep, and today we have another pullback, another bloody morning to wake up to. There's escalations in the trade war, and we're going to help you try to navigate it. All right, so stick with us. We're going to cover it all in just a moment. Okay, so this morning we're waking up here. Let's go to the US 500. We are waking up to seeing another red day. Yesterday we gapped up, we held it, virtually got the close over the daily 4, but today we're waking up to a sell down from that, and we're going to see if this thing wants to drive down towards, say, that 65.46 daily 50, or if this thing wants to try to make that push down a little bit further than that. Okay. You guys know, if you've been following me for a long time, that I love harmonics. Okay. This would be a perfect harmonic if we hold today. Right. So this would be a perfect harmonic. Never looks good in a daily. So let me try that again. Virtually what we're looking for is this to hold, right? If this holds, this gives us a bullish signal, and we look to target the high of yesterday and potentially back into this consolidation up here. Okay. So we're looking to see how this responds here. And it doesn't make a difference if we go and swipe the low and then recover. It doesn't make a difference to me. Still would print a harmonic. It's very bullish signal, very bearish signal. Generally speaking, we see those for big reversals. I've talked about this numerous times. You can see one here. You can see the same type of look here, right, that we had back here. A big pullback, and then ultimately had that harmonic, and we just went off to the races. Let's switch that over. Remember this big candle set, another setup, boom, and then we took off. So it really just boils down to these next 2 days, right? So today's close, and then into tomorrow, what that looks like. So if we hold today, I'm going to probably swing some calls. We'll see what happens, but we'll cover it all. But as of right now, quick shout out to our sponsors, Black Box Stocks and GammaEdge. Without those guys, we would not be able to provide this to you every single day, so for free. So make sure you go and support them. Go give it a try for yourself and see if this thing is as beneficial for you as it is me. 14-day free trial with GammaEdge, and I think about 40 or 50% off coupon code with Black Box. So, all right. Let's dive into the data. Okay, so this is a new browser for me, y'all. I'm trying something. So overall, we remain call dominated on the S&P here. Okay, overall call dominated. We have a floor of 6,600 and a ceiling of 6,800. We're flirting with the exposure floor here at 6,600. Will we get a press or close below that? That'll be an interesting thing. I want you to not be too bearish and not too bullish today. There's clearly a condor on here that they're looking to trap us between 6,600 and 6,700. That's a clear iron condor. Will that hold? It's not super big, but it's pretty good size, and it's one of notable size. And if honestly we didn't have the news yesterday or this morning, this probably would have held and probably would have been a great day for us to trade. Very easy day for us to trade. But as it stands right now, we just kind of go with the punches, right? So we're watching this area for a potential move outside of 6,600. And when we see this is when we see a expansion down, all right? And this is where we have to look at full complex. Full complex is likely to bring us down. There's going to be support at 6,550, and there's also going to be support at 6,500. Those would be your two areas where you'd watch for support on any type of breakdown today. So what do I mean is if, like I said, our exposure is right here at 6,600. If this breaks down or rejects off 6,600, then you're looking to probably go ahead and get short. Okay, you don't want to be oversized with this type of play because of the way it's set up, but you're looking to get short under 6,600. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some rope here. Okay, some false breaks. Either way you play this, unless you see a God candle come out of here, then generally I'm okay chasing that. However, it's not the ideal setup for a 0 day. Okay. Because we could shoot right out of the rocket, right? We recapture 6,600 and we shoot right out of the rocket and try to move our way up towards yesterday's high. And at that point, we'll play, virtually a short, most likely up here. That's probably what we'll end up doing if we get up there. And if we break down from 6,600, you're going to have to watch an area demand here. And you're going to have to watch the gap close demand here. This aligns with our support area right here. So watch the move here to take the low, and that support area that we talked about, 65.50 there. You got to watch that. Otherwise, if we lose both of those, we're probably heading down towards 6,500, which is down in this range, which is where I called the bottom of last week. I said I didn't think we'd get any lower than that. Right? Well, that's the case. At least that's what we've seen. Looking at this, let me flip this over. Looking at this, let me turn off silver on here. That was forward chart. This is kind of what we're looking at. Yesterday, we saw the October open reject. And today we're seeing it kind of bounce down in this range. The August high, was at 65.08, and we bounced right into that 65.08, 6,500 area, right in this range, and held it previously in this day here in the after hours. Now, will we retest that zone? I think there's a likely chance if we reject off of 6,600. We'll say like we either chop or we break down from here. Guys, it would not be uncommon for us to just sit at 6,600, false break, come back, false break down, come back. This would not be uncommon for this type of setup, okay? A lot of times, let me show you an example of what this looks like. And I've got to kind of hurry, and I'm going to real briefly go over Tesla and NVDA. But what this looks like, okay, I want you to look at this. Big sell down, a jump up, dead cat bounce, right? And what happens after? So let's go look at a big sell down. Okay, so this is a good example. Right? We sold down, we found our bounce, and then we sold back down. Or even, here's an example here. Gapped up, came back down, and we create a base. Generally, this is a 2 to 3 day process where we sell down and we see some level of reversal, right? So it creates a move like this, and this is where we create the base for a move for those cup and handles that are so common, right? Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I am saying that I have 6,600 as the exposure level, and I'm looking for the move towards 6,500 if we break down below this, and trimming up virtually here at the lows of the day there at 6,500, 6,550. That's what I will be looking for if that's the case. But full complex remains call dominated. We got to be cautious, like I said, for this thing to rip out. This is the difference maker between pros and Joes. Okay, everyone and their brother's super bearish. You need to know that where our dealer's positioned, and we know that 6,600 is our pivot. And just because everybody and their brother is bearish today doesn't mean you need to be. We are playing the levels. This is the edge you have, right? knowing where the dealers are. So if we find ourselves over 6,600, you're going to need to watch yesterday's low, yesterday's open. These are going to be a telltale sign. We'll probably find ourselves, even if this turns bullish, we'll probably find ourselves coming and rejecting off of that low, confirming back at 6,600, maybe checking the open, and then maybe finding our way to the close, right? So this could be a choppy day here, even if it is bullish for a move up here. Do not get sold on any type of false breakout here, all right? False breakout, false breakdown. You have to be patient on these and be okay with taking the run from the single leg, right? The single leg to the retest here. Be okay with that. Be okay with, taking a short and for the retest. That's okay too. But, I'm not so much a fan of shorting this retest as I am, shorting the breakdown here or shorting the yesterday's high visit. All right. In the event that we do find ourselves breaking yesterday's high, that 6,700 to 6,690 level is probably the cap. I don't see us squeezing out of this, but if you do see VIX rising with price or virtually stable as what the prices it's at, then that could cause a squeeze. Okay, so be cautious of that. All right, let's move on. Let's go to NVIDIA here. We see a bit of a drop today. We're towards that 185 area. I talked about this yesterday. If we really broke down or couldn't get over this range, watch for it to visit to 185. Well, guess what? That's what we're getting. Let's pull the data real quick. Still remains super bullish here. This is still buy the dip mentality. You're not going to change that most likely. Just being honest with you. This is part of what's propping the market, right? Until this flips, the market's probably going to continue to get bought up. I mean, this is just such a big part of what we're looking at. But this is a leader in the whole AI space. So as we continue to see this like this, it's hard to be super bearish on the market. However, it is what it is. There's sectors to this market, and this isn't the end all. Still 182 floor, 185 pivot point here for the bullish support. Looking for it to push up towards that 190 and 195 area. So virtually the same. Nothing changes here. This is, like I said, a buy the dip area on NVIDIA here. If you lose 185, sure, you could get short here for a 180 visit. But I find myself being more positive on NVIDIA than I am anything else. So I think you need to watch the hard levels here on NVIDIA, and that's going to be virtually in this zone here. Virtually, right? That's just baby puke orange right there. If you don't have kids, you don't know. Okay. So watch this hard level here. This is virtually into yesterday's close. That would be an area where I would watch for a potential rejection if you do make a bounce off of the 185 area. Know that it is bullish all the way to 190 and 195. Could this be an opportunity for you to take money on that? Sure, absolutely. You could see that thing run all the way up there, and that would likely mean that we're retesting 6,700, etc. Right? But if we see a breakdown below 185, that's really going to be some relative weakness on NVIDIA, and we could see this thing drive down towards 182.5. I'm going with more so the low, and then potentially down towards 180, right? High confidence of closing out at 182.5 or Friday's close below there. That would be your high confidence closeout. Your runner stretch is 180. Tesla. We talked about this yesterday where we thought we were not going to get the push over the 127, 125 area. I said we're going to open up in bearish territory. Well, we spent all the morning virtually getting rejected in this area. Ultimately, I think some news came out and as far as Shanghai or something like that, and it really started just getting crazy. And we ultimately, before I got alert not on it, which I think was in this candle here, we got a long on it, like right here, and we closed it out for a $30 loss, because we weren't getting the squeeze like we were anticipating. We were looking for the squeeze towards that 440 mark, and we got a little too late on it. Let's just put it that way. But today it opens up towards that 425 area. If we pull the data on Tesla, you're going to see, maybe, if I can type, microphone's in the way. And you get one of those ones that hangs. All right. Call dominated here. Really choppy look here. Okay. Really choppy look. If we drop today or this week, how does it look? It looks super bullish still, right? There's some levels to this. Cash secured puts being sold down here. Sure. But I think that when you look at this looks like a really indecisive stock, right? A lot of people are bullish on this, but there's a lot of people that are calling BS on Tesla's valuation, amongst a ton of other tickers. But this one right here is a great deal of uncertainty between 440 and 400 at this point. That's what this box is telling us, right? This week, we have a containment between 450 and 400. We've known that. That's what we've been looking at here. 400, 450. As far as the change on this, your transitional is more so at 430 now. And you're going to likely look for this thing to be bearish underneath 430. Okay. Of course, this is a shelf. This is, generally speaking, you'll always hear me, if we return to these on a breakout from a accumulation, right? I'm more times than not, I'm bullish on this, okay? Because this is a confirmation bounce. This is the confirmation bounce that I took yesterday on the S&P, where I talked about this with on our spaces yesterday that I was speaker on. I was talking about them. I said, man, I know this looks ugly. This is about right in this time frame right here. I said, but I'm getting long at that virtually 66.40 area. And that whole idea is we had dealer levels stacked here. We had our 15-minute high and a decisive area right in this range, right? So we got long in here, building on this. Virtually right before it did the double down right here. So we got long here, and then we let it just roll into it. I was going to average into this, but we didn't ultimately do that. And then took a little bit of profits on that and called it good. But a nice move there for late in the day, your 2 o'clock hour, right? You can make a ton of money on something like that. But I had no issues being with that, because that's the retest. All to say, on Teslas, based on data, I'm not feeling as confident as I was for something like that. That's where I'm going with this, right? Is because as we slip this area here, you can see 427.5 starts to build into that negative pressure, right? 425 is definitely going to be your pivot point here, but I don't care that there's a volume shelf here. If we break down below 425, you're short. And you're looking for this thing to surpass this and push down towards that 400 level. You stay short under 425. It breaks over 425, you're out. Could you let this break below 425, retest these lows, bounce back, and re-enter? This is ideal. All right? This is ideal. But take it how you want it. Okay, so that's going to cover us for today on our levels. Hopefully this is helpful for you. If you do like the pre-market prep and you watch it, whether it's on X or whether you watch it on YouTube, if you want access to it prior to the market open, then join our Discord. I give it out free every single day. I'm in the live channel and we record this in there. and then I post it. So if you want access to it, join the Discord. It's in my link in my bio, in the description on YouTube. And then also if you want access to any of our affiliate links, those are on there too for any of the data that I use and how I dissect the market. So thanks for joining. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, share. You know what to do, guys. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. Till tomorrow. We'll catch you later.